Hey, thank you for joining me again on another edition of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People with me, the real Jason Duncan, and results through integrity. For those of you that have been following my content this year, you know in 2020 that we've been going through this card deck on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by the Stephen Covey Group. It's based on the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is one of the best books ever written, and I highly recommend it to all of my clients, to all of my customers, any of the folks that I train. I think that you should read it. It's one of the best books on interpersonal relationships. Before I get into today's activity on the 7 Habits, I want to encourage you to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have gone over, I think, 2,500 subscribers this year. Picked up a lot more in the last several weeks, and I want to thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it very much. If you haven't followed me on LinkedIn, you can search for me here at The Real Jason Duncan, or on Instagram at The Real Jason Duncan as well. So thank you for following me for this content. And I've had even a couple of people over the last week or two give me some ideas and tips for the type of content that they want to see on this channel. So I'm going to be doing some of those pieces that you guys have asked about, so stay tuned. All right, we're on week number 38. It's hard to believe that we're on week 38. I think I say that every week, but we're on week 38, and the habit that we're talking about is habit number 5, which is seek first to understand, then to be understood. And each week, as you know, we go through these cards. They give us a little activity that goes with that habit for the week. And this, or for the habit that we're on habit number 5. So the activity for this week is really good because it's about digital communication. And that's texting, telephone, email, all the ways that we communicate, whether it's Slack or any other channel like that we use to communicate with one another as employees, employers, as teammates, or as vendors and customers. It says here the activity is to bring empathic communication to the digital world. Now, if you've been following this content, you know that we talked a lot about empathic communication a few weeks ago, and I encourage you to go back and look for that content on my YouTube channel, and you'll see that I talk a lot about that because it was one of the tips that I covered in my weekly video series on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But in this tip, it says bring empathic communication to the digital world, and on the front of the card it says this: the next time you digitally communicate when emotions are high, try using one of these. Number 1, allow the other person to finish their thoughts before responding. Number 2, reflect their feelings and words before expressing your own. Or number 3, clearly state your intent and be specific. Now, I know that there sometimes can be emotions and tensions run high, and we're digitally communicating. And that happens a lot in text messages, and I've had that happen just in the last 10 days myself. We can be communicating with someone, and you don't have to be angry, but emotions can be high. There's a highly volatile opportunity, or somebody said something that's not true and you're trying to correct it. Whatever that is, a lot of times digital communication sometimes makes it worse because we say what we want to say with our thumbs, and then we're waiting for the person to respond. They don't respond, then we say something else, then they don't respond, and then by the time they get a chance to respond, they're trying to hit all of the things that we talked about before, and they're not able to. So the tip for this week is that you should bring empathic communication to the digital world and how you communicate. If you flip the card over onto the back, it has an ask yourself question, just like it does every week. And this week it says, how can I listen with empathy during text, phone, and email conversations? We're in a digital world, and we all text, we all talk on the phone, maybe not as much as we used to, but we also do email. How can we practice empathy when we're involved in that type of communication? Effective communication, the card goes on to say, effective communication in the digital world requires the same intent and skills used in face-to-face communication. The challenge often lies in reading and relaying intent across media. Anytime I am training some people, or if I'm training employees or talking about communication, I always talk to them about the fact that they need to make sure to watch their tone, because tone is very difficult to communicate and can be misinterpreted quite easily through digital communication. So this week, make sure you bring empathic communication to your digital world. The quote for the week by Stephen Covey is this: empathy is the fastest form of human communication. I hope that you have a great week, and we'll see you next time on another video on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Bye-bye.